Facts about atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The United States detonated 2 atomic bombs over the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on 6 and August 9, 1945. Japanese radar operators detected a small number of incoming U.S. planes but decided not to intercept them as the small number of planes were not seen as a threat. Allegedly only 3 of the 12 people on board the Enola Gay actually knew the real purpose of their mission to Hiroshima. About 12 cyanide pills were kept in the cockpit of the Enola Gay, and pilots were instructed to take them if the mission was compromised during the bombing of Hiroshima. The Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs were based on very different designs. The Japanese city of Kyoto was spared from atomic destruction solely by U.S. Secretary of War Henry Stimson, who had admired the city during his honeymoon decades earlier. Nagasaki took its place on the list. The U.S. dropped about 49 practice bombs nicknamed pumpkin bombs that killed 400 and injured 1,200 before nuking Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bomb on Hiroshima fell at 9:15 a.m. crew time plus 17 seconds. It was 8:15 local time in Hiroshima. The little boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima was made of highly enriched uranium-235, while the Fat Man bomb dropped on Nagasaki was made of plutonium. The plutonium-type bomb detonated over Nagasaki actually had a greater explosive power than that used on Hiroshima. The bomb would fall for 43 seconds before detonation, after which the shock wave would take another 40 seconds to travel 8 miles. It was the first time a nuclear weapon had been deployed in warfare, and the bomb immediately killed 80,000 people. Tens of thousands more would later die of radiation exposure. Between 90,000 and 166,000 people are estimated to have died as a result of the Hiroshima attack, while the Nagasaki bomb is thought to have caused the deaths of 60,000 to 80,000 people. The atomic bombs dropped over Hiroshima and Nagasaki respectively released the energy equivalent to 15,000 and 20,000 tons of TNT. Almost all of that energy was released in the initial 30 seconds after detonation. 35% in the form of heat and light, 50% in a pressure shock wave, and 5% in nuclear radiation. The shock waves leveled almost all structures within a 1-mile radius from the detonation. People within 500 meters were instantly incinerated. The immense explosions extended out about 1 mile, swiftly consuming oxygen in the blast areas. Thousands of people suffocated. The Hiroshima fireball was 1,200 feet in diameter, with a surface temperature of 10,800 degrees Fahrenheit. After the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, hundreds of people made their way towards Nagasaki. Of these, 165 survived both the bombings and lived to tell the tale. When the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, the blast was of such intensity that it permanently burned shadows of people and objects into the ground. Around 25% of the deaths caused by the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were conscripted Koreans. It took Tokyo about 3 hours before they realized Hiroshima had been bombed. The USA originally denied that atomic bombs caused any lingering radioactivity whatsoever, calling such claims as Japanese propaganda. The Japanese army planned to have every man, woman and child to fight America to the death kamikaze style even after Hiroshima. They even attempted a coup when the emperor gave word to surrender. The closest known survivor of the Hiroshima atomic bomb was in a basement only 170 meters from ground zero. The most destructive bombing event of World War II was neither Hiroshima nor Nagasaki. It was the Operation Meeting House, the American firebombing of Tokyo. For decades, the mayor of Hiroshima Tadashi Akiba wrote letters of protest each time a nuclear test was conducted, as a plea to end the use of nuclear weapons. The flame of peace in Hiroshima has burned since the event in honor of the victims and will be extinguished only when all nuclear weapons are removed from the world and the earth is free from nuclear threat. A man named Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived the atomic blast at Hiroshima, dragged himself into an air raid shelter and spent the night there. In the morning caught a train so he could arrive at his job on time in Nagasaki, where he survived another atomic blast. The oleander is the official flower of the city of Hiroshima because it was the first thing to bloom again after the explosion of the atomic bomb in 1945.